He's on so far.
Hey, Sally.
Hey, how are you? Oh my God, your hair's gotten so long.
I know. Can't get to the salon, right?
No, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
I like the length.
Oh, it's on purpose.
I like it. Hey, Katie, how are you?
Hi, guys. I've been living with my hair in a messy bun because I was so, I wasn't thinking about my hair when everything was going on lockdown and going to get a haircut. I was thinking about food. So messy bun it is.
Your roots look good though. You don't look like you. I mean, is your hair naturally that light?
Yeah, it's pretty light. In fact, it grows in darker than, because I get highlights. So my natural color is darker with a smattering of grays.
As a guy, I always think it'll be cheaper once I get more gray because going from dark to light is a lot more obvious than if I get some natural gray in.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Christina, how are you? And then Jamie and Christy, we can't see you guys.
Oh, because I just got out of the shower.
Oh, you're fine. You can come on the camera anytime you want. We'll wait a couple more minutes for people to pop on. Hey, yeah, honestly, like I had on like my regular PJs and I was like, I threw a sweatshirt over top of it just in case. So I was like,
I did too. I put on a collared shirt for you guys.
I'm not as lucky as Katie. My roots are really, really dark.
oh my gosh, mine are getting dark quick.
I'm over it.
Maybe we'll like the darker color. I've been on for so long, like.
Well, but see mine, and I can't figure out why, it stops right, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like stops right there. It will never get any darker than down here. I've tried. I've gone an entire year without getting my hair highlighted. It doesn't get any longer than this, and so then it just looks dirty all the time. So that's why I'm not as lucky as Katie. Or you.
So fun. Okay, so who else is on so far? Hey, Kimmy, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
And then Christy M. Is that Christy Martin?
It is. I've been trying to tell her that she's not muted on like every platform I can.
I can't see. Well, she sent under her video on, so I wasn't sure if that was the same Christy. But I'm sure we'll have people hopping on as we go. But this one is the Zoom lasts 45 minutes. So let's dive in. My goal for this call is for all of us to get off feeling relaxed and calm and just like very peaceful. So we're all going to drift into like a really good sleep tonight. For those of you who don't know kind of my background, I used to be a psychology professor, but I also am a total yoga addict. So I love all this stuff. I love anything about, keeping yourself centered and calm and positive. And it's interesting when all this started to go down. Gosh, it's been a month now, right? Has it been like, I think the kids said it's exactly a month since school canceled. And I, for the first time in my life, felt anxiety. Like I've got my middle son has dealt with anxiety for years and years, and it's gotten much better in high school now. But when he was young, it was a major issue. And while I like studied it and taught it and everything else, like dealing with someone with an anxiety was like a whole different ballgame. So I learned a lot about anxiety then, but I still had never felt it. And I don't know what the combination was because I've always worked from home, so that was never a thing. But I think I was watching way too much news. I was just sitting down, like many of you probably frozen and just absorbing it all day long because I'm like, so what is this? It was so much unknown that we just thought, yay, Jenny Foley. You definitely need this call this week. You have had a crazy, crazy week. Oh, I don't know if she can hear us.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was talking to you. I'm so excited you got on.
I just finally took a shower.
Jenny's selling her house this week. So she literally has like a week to sell her house and she's moving to a new house. And so she is in the middle of like total.
Good timing, huh?
Yes, this is a good call for you. And
Jenny, I feel for you.
Huh?
I feel for you, Jenny. I just got out of the shower too.
Oh, perfect. I'm in my robe. I'm so cozy.
So
Nice.
It's good to see your faces.
You guys too.
You too.
I know. I think we all need this. Like, I'm so excited for the socialization, but also the like just kind of reminders. It was fun actually going through and jotting down notes. But what I was saying before I stopped because you popped on, I was so excited to see you. Was that in March, that's the first time I'd ever really felt anxiety, and it felt like a huge weight on my chest. Like it was literally kind of shortness of breath and just constantly feeling down. That's like not my personality at all. And so I know if I was feeling it, probably a lot of other people were too, because I'm so far on the other extreme from ever feeling that. And I realized, I was like, okay, so I sat in that for probably about 10 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't live like this. I can't live like with this constant feeling of like this weight on my chest. Like this is awful. So I started redoing the things that I knew would work to decrease the anxiety. And they all really have worked. I hear so many people right now, and outside of obviously health concerns and job concerns and money concerns, like I'm actually quite enjoying this time with my family. Because I got all of those panicked feelings away, I feel like I'm noticing all the good things that are coming from this. And so I hope with some of these techniques that we talk about, you guys can kind of come to that place too. So basically, I'm going to very quickly kind of go through some like quick techniques for reducing stress and anxiety. And then Katie is going to share how she really has used her Ever products to keep herself calm and centered. And she's an expert. She's like, one of the top Ever girls. So she's going to tell us a lot of really great information that we don't know. And she's going to talk a little bit about some exercise stuff too that she has. So number one thing, and how many of you were there with Jessica for the positive intelligence thing years ago? Were any of y'all at that? So it's funny because when I was reading through and kind of taking down notes, so much of it was the things that Shirzad did with us for positive intelligence. So these are not just like, I think for a long time, like meditation and yoga and things like that kind of were treated as, granola or like, people who are out there, not like serious business people, but it is, all these techniques have been found to help. I mean, most CEOs now use these practices regularly as a part of their business. So the first one is meditation. And a lot of people confuse meditation or think meditation is simply just breathing, and that's definitely a big part of it. Hey, who else is talking about? Hey, Kelly, how are you?
Hi, Kelly.
Glad you can join us. Meditation is just any repetitive action. So walking, swimming, painting, knitting, anything that kind of keeps your attention on one thing and is done over and over again and really makes you focus in on the present, doing that same repetitive action over and over is considered meditative. It's why for so long people had knitting circles. It was such like a calming thing. It's like your mind has to go to that one task over and over and over again, so it pushes out all the other tasks. That's basically what meditation does. It's like a hyper focus and deep breathing on that one task. And so all the other thoughts in your head that are like flying all over the place. Hi, Tanine, how are you?
Hey, girl.
Good to see you. They kind of go away. So I thought that was an interesting clarification, because I kind of had always thought meditating was really just centered around breathing, but all of those activities, things like gardening as well, really will help you get into that meditative state. The goal is really to just let everything else go from your mind and focus on that one thing. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that's kind of like the counting sheep back in the day. Remember when you were falling asleep and your mind was racing 100 times and they're like, just count sheep? That's basically, it was just meditation. It was hyper focusing in on one thing. Or a lot of people will talk about focusing in on your breathing. That also is just hyper focusing in on one thing and letting everything else go. One of the second tips I thought was really interesting is imagining yourself relaxed. So creating a very peaceful visualization. So that wine looks very peaceful, Janine. Janine's cracking a whole bottle of wine right now. That's making me want to go get another glass of wine.
Yeah, I thought this was a happy hour.
It's total happy hour. Oh my gosh, that is the best thing you can do right now to calm your nerves. So imagine yourself somewhere really peaceful. So for me, that was probably, if I think back to Mexico a couple of months ago, our last like hour there, everybody else had left, and Kevin and I went and found these 2 hammocks, and I had a Corona, and I just laid in my hammock with a book. And so I can go back to that moment because it was so peaceful. There was like a cool breeze. The waves were breaking. I had a really good book in my Corona. So that like kind of very specific visualization of something that brought you a lot of peace, you can take your body back to feeling exactly like it felt in that moment by just like kind of closing your eyes and doing that visualization. The third one, which is really interesting in terms of today's time, is just being present. And I think this is something that a lot of us are kind of having to do right now that we haven't done in a long time, which I think is kind of one positive side effect of us all kind of being locked down like this. We are probably the most present we've been with our families in a really, really, really long time. I think we are so big on to-do lists and running from thing to thing, and we've done that our whole lives. It's like we've gotten into these cycles of like accomplishment, that we forget to just be present. And one of the tips is to slow down. And I think that that's something that we all, whether we like it or not, this is kind of forcing us to slow down. And being present is just focusing on a single behavior with careful awareness. A lot of it's about your senses, and this is a lot of the positive intelligence stuff too, but things like feeling the air on your face, or like noticing the smell of the coffee, or when you're taking a walk, feeling your feet hit the ground, like hyper focus in on like a specific sense and notice it and be present with that sense. That will do wonders for reducing anxiety and depression. Even little things like when you're driving, like feeling the steering wheel, it's just really focusing in on specific senses and noticing what those things are. Kevin and Josh and I went on a walk today across the river. Jenny, we did the one that you and I did, and over to, was it Belle Isle maybe? But anyway, I just felt back and I felt the breeze on my face, and I noticed the rapids going by, and I just took a second to just take a deep breath, and like just that simple thing, just I felt stress just kind of go right off my body. Number 4, breathing deeply. And this is the number 1 technique. Katie, I think you and I talked about this once, like with anxiety, this is probably our number 1 thing that we had to help Brady learn how to do as a kid, because when you're having an anxiety attack, you don't know that no matter how much you rationalize, you can't rationalize away the feeling. You can't, that feeling of your heart racing, it could be the most, what he was scared of as a little boy could have been the most irrational thing in the whole wide world. It didn't matter how many times you're like, you're okay, you're safe. You think those things are gonna help, but until you get your heart rate to slow down, the anxiety is not going to go away. So deep breathing is probably like the number 1 thing. And a couple of different techniques people do with anxiety is square breathing. And so what square breathing is just 5 seconds in through your nose and out through your mouth. So breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and then breathe out for 5 seconds, and then hold it for 5 seconds. And if you do that over and over again, and it's kind of like a square, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, your heart rate, it's impossible for it not to slow down. And then once you get your breathing under control and your heart rate under control, then you can start thinking about, okay, the rational reasons why what was making you anxious really wasn't. But until you get the breathing part down, like it's impossible to like get the anxiety feeling to go away. So breathing's a huge one. The next one is decompressing. So that's why, and this is actually a little bit of what Katie's going to talk about with like doing face masks right now and using lavish and like doing anything that's very self-soothing, putting a warm heating thing around your neck, closing your eyes, relaxing your face muscles. We used to do this thing, and I used to do it with my boys when they were little, and I even did it with Kevin a lot when he would have a stressful day, where you just kind of close your eyes and you like tighten up each part of your body. So like you start with your feet and like squinch your feet together, like tighten, and then you relax your feet and just let it like sink into the mattress. And then you work your way up to your legs, and then your body and your arms, and then your face. You squinch up your face, and then your eye, everything. You just hold it like real tight, and then you just let it sink in. So that's another kind of decompression technique that will, when you're having trouble falling asleep at night and you're stressed out in your bed, try to work your way all the way up your body. And then when you let go, just feel yourself kind of sinking into the mattress. Laughing is really good right now. Thank God for Netflix and all these great shows that are on TV that are making us laugh. Don't just watch all the Ozarks. Like, actually watch things that are going to give you a good laugh. Helps decrease cortisol levels, helps increase your endorphin levels. Get active. That's why today, honestly, I had a mile-long to-do list of things to do today. And Kevin and Josh said they were going to go to drive to the city, which is like 30 minutes, and then take like an hour hike, and then 30 minutes home. And I was like, I don't have 2 hours to give up today. And I was like, I can't not go get exercise. Like, I'm so sick of walking my neighborhood. Like, I have to just take the break, go out, get my heart rate going. And like I said, walking across that bridge, the air on my face, like that did wonders for me. So even when you think you're too busy to go out and do something, just do something to get yourself moving. The next one is communicating with others, and which is so interesting because they said the thing you want to do when you're stressed is to like cocoon in by yourself, but actually connecting with others when you're feeling anxiety and stress will do wonders for you. So while we can't go out for coffee with our friends right now, we can't do those sort of things, this sort of thing is really good for you. So whether it's all of your high school girls getting on a Zoom or a team call, or whatever the case may be, this connection is really, really, really important when you're feeling anxiety and depression at all. And then finally, yoga specifically will kind of bring all of these techniques together. So if you've never done yoga before, I know some of you have told me you have a hard time with the sitting still through a yoga because your mind's racing and all that, but that means you're the one, Jamie, that needs it the most. Like, if you can't quiet your mind, yoga will kind of force you into quieting your mind. And Janine, actually, you should tell us a little bit about, because you don't have to, but Janine taught yoga in Hawaii, which that you get the visualization and you get the yoga techniques, but just doing it brings in the meditation and the repetitiveness and the deep breathing and all of it kind of together. And it's like the ultimate in decreasing your anxiety technique that you can do. And there's all kinds of websites that you can do yoga on. I know a lot of places like High House Yoga right now are offering free. People can get online on their Facebook page and kind of do them along with the class. So this would be a good time to implement some of those things. Okay, so anyone, before we move on to kind of how to really use the skincare to help calm you, anyone have any questions or anything they want to say about those techniques or anything else you do personally?
Hey, Kelly, will you, because I guess you can't do it on here, or maybe when Katie's talking, can you type in the comments the site you just said? Because yes, I have done yoga before, and I had a friend who taught it, and she used to laugh at me. She's like, you can just see your mind is just like going all different ways, and you are not relaxing. And she's like, it's so distracting. And I was like, sorry, but so I need to practice it at home. I'm terrible with it. So
yeah, and it's one of those things you get better at as you do it. It's like every time you feel your mind wander, right, instead of beating yourself up about it, just like focus back in on your breathing. Like, if you actually, there's a lot of visualization things you can do while you're breathing. So if you're in a pose and you find your mind being like, okay, I've got this meeting later today, I've got this thing due, I've got, to do this with the kids or whatever, you can literally picture clean, fresh air going into your lungs and filling up your lungs, and then blow out all the smoky, dusty, bad air. So it's visualizations like that. If you have go-tos, will help you kind of be like, okay, I see that's over there, but I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to focus back in on the breathing.
okay.
So it's definitely a learned skill.
Will you just type below what the free ones you said were, so I can get
Yes. I definitely
started right now?
Okay, yeah, I will do that.
Hey guys. So before I talk about self-care, I wanted to talk about Pilates for a second. So I have been a Pilates instructor for over 10 years, and basically 2 tips or suggestions that are sort of Pilates related that you guys can apply to your lives right now. One is, I know a lot of people are walking for exercise, which is great. In Pilates, what we try to do is we try to work the deepest of the abdominal muscles, which is called the transverse abdominis. And the deeper the muscle in your body, the harder it is to find. And the transverse abdominis is basically like your inner waist. It literally attaches at your sternum and your pubic bone, and goes all the way around and attaches on your spine. So it truly is, I call it in my classes, your inner corset. So if you, when you're walking, or even like when you're doing dishes, I mean, if you can try to picture that inner corset and just engage it, tighten it up while you're walking or, doing anything, that's going to help you maintain your core. That's one tip that I always try to do. The other tip is in Pilates, we really focus on spinal health. And one of the best things you can do in every Pilates workout, but I try to do it every day, is move your spine in all directions. So flexion of your spine is reaching down and touching your toes, right? And getting into that stretch in your lower back. And if you let the weight of your head go, like really let your head hang, that will also help stretch your thoracic spine, your mid back. So flexion of the spine, bending forward. Extension of the spine is the opposite. And one of the best ways to do that is to try to like reverse hang in a door frame. So if you reach back and grab a door frame behind you and kind of like lean into your chest, if that makes sense, and look up, imagine like doing a back bend. That's extension of the spine, but you can stand and do that. And then side bends, so staying facing forward, side to side on each side, and go as deep as you can, right? And then also twist. So holding, bringing this hand to the outside of the opposite leg and sitting really tall and twisting that way, twisting on both sides. So if every day you can move your spine like that, that will help you release a lot of tension and keeping good spinal health. So I hope that helps. So, and also I wanted to ask, are we all Southern Charms or Classic Charms? Do we have any guests on, or are we all on the same team? Any guests? Can you see Kelly?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think everyone here are ambassadors, right? Everyone?
Okay, good. So basically, if you're not using the Ever Pure Results regimen, now is a perfect time to try it. I started using it years ago and did the before and after photo, and my 3-week before and after photos were so amazing that I joined I switched over to Ever and joined and became an ambassador. And a way to talk about it with people is that it's botanical based but clinically grade. So it's good for you and it works. And they're really, really amazing products. So I recommend trying the regimen if you don't already have it. But what I'm doing right now with my skincare is, because I have more time on my hands, I'm not teaching any Pilates, and I'm focusing on the extras. Okay, so we have 2 masks, Glowify and Purify. And Purify is a charcoal detox mask. It's really good for anyone with combination skin or so Jamie, what I said was botanical based but clinical grade. So what that means is that every single product of Ever's that makes it to market has performed really, really well in third-party blind clinical trials. That's pretty amazing. Like if they don't perform well in those trials, we don't sell them. They don't make it to market. You're welcome. And that's a good selling point with people. What I always say is, there are plenty of products out there that are good for you that might not necessarily work as well as you want them to. And then there are plenty of products out there that work really well, but have suspicious ingredients that might not be good for your skin, or, 65% of what you put on your skin gets absorbed into your bloodstream. So people are very aware of this right now, and people are spending money on skincare and self-care products. So, so not just for you guys for what you use personally, but for those of you who, you know, started with Stella and Dot and maybe don't feel that comfortable or don't yet know the Ever products, don't be afraid to talk about them. There's a lot in Self-Made University that you can go kind of, I went on there before this call just to like brush up on ingredients. You don't have to be an expert. So masks have been the masks are amazing. So the charcoal mask is also really good for a spot treatment. So my daughter's 15. She uses this on any blemishes. If I get a blemish, I use this. Sometimes I'll do the charcoal mask on my T-zone, and then I'll do the Glowify, which is mineral mask. I'll do this on my cheeks at the same time, you know, 2 different masks. Or you can do, if you're really ambitious, you could do this one first and then this one. So the masks are really great if you haven't checked them out. One product I'm really excited about, which is what we launched this month, and it's called Quench. And I feel bad for poor Quench, because Quench totally got shoved into the back seat because of Corona. But Quench is awesome. It is a pure hyaluronic acid moisture serum. So what that means, and in fact, there are 2 different size hyaluronic acid spheres in this. And by the way, if you can't tell, I'm a total product nerd, and I also love Julie Schoen, who's our vice president of product development, and I love listening to her and hearing about all these things. But so basically, what the 2 different sizes of the hyaluronic acid spheres in this, one is really small, so it will like actually sink into the skin to plump. And then the other one is slightly larger and meant to kind of sit on the surface of your skin. And I used this before the call, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's nice. It's very dewy, very gentle. Anybody can use it. I haven't been wearing a ton of makeup on this lockdown, so if I pass my bathroom, I'll just go ahead and give myself like an extra, it's light, I give myself an extra boost of this, because, you know, in my normal life, I'm not applying serum throughout the day, but why not? I've got extra time on my hands. I'm stuck in my house, so.
So is there an amount that's too much to use that with? Because I've been a little confused about this. I've been using it and I like it, but I didn't know, like, you just put it on multiple times a day?
Absolutely. With this product, is you could use it, think of it just like sheer moisture. So it's just like a moisture shot to your skin. You can't overdo it. I mean, I shouldn't say you can't, because everybody's different with skin, but I have a client who has really, really sensitive skin and is afraid to try products. And I would start her on this before like Youthful, because Youthful is more powerful. This is moisture.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been doing, like, that's a good extra. The other extra that I've been doing a lot, and I don't know if anybody has tried, but the little Youthful restorative night concentrate. So Youthful, which is our top seller, it comes in the Pure Results regimen. It is the #1 seller for all of Ever skincare. It was so successful that they launched a whole Youthful line, which basically they just added a Youthful eye cream, which is truly like the ultimate eye cream. It's loaded with the whole like quatropeptide thing that's in Youthful serum, and they made it more concentrate and put it in an eye cream. So this is awesome, and you can use it twice a day. It's very gentle. I haven't had a single customer have a negative reaction to it. It's awesome. And then these little guys, and this is, again, like I said, super concentrated form of Youthful. They're these little tiny ampules, And it's a super, super, super concentrated, like there's no water in this formula. And you literally just twist the top off, squeeze it onto your fingertips, and pat it in. So I'm seeing this. I'm confused about the 2 night creams. Hold on, let me get to that. Ah! I'm on my phone, so oh, here. Chat. I'm confused about the 2 night creams. One's for morning dark circles. Eye creams. Gotcha. Okay. So here is the difference with the, so youthful eye cream, I'd say is more, this is the one that's for dark circles. This is, if you had to choose just one, I would do this. Sublime, which is an awesome eye cream. I don't have it down here with me, but that has retinol in it. And retinol is amazing for fighting the signs of aging, wrinkles, and fine lines. I personally go back and forth between the two. So on one night I'll use Sublime, the next night I use this. I use this every morning. So that's what I do. I hope that answers your question. Some people are kind of afraid of retinol. They shouldn't be. Which brings me to the next one. If you guys have not tried this.
All right, one second. We're about to run out. When it does cut off, anyone who wants to get back on, we'll still talk for another 10 or 15 minutes. Someone must have gotten on really early because we should have had another like 10 minutes for free. But all we gotta do is just get back on the link again and it'll come right back on.
Kelly, hasn't it been, I thought Zoom was doing unlimited time now because of all this stuff.
Mine still stops at 40 minutes unless I go to paid.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's something I need to click on. But all we have to do is just get right back on the same link again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay. So this product, the overnight facial oil, this for a while was my favorite ever product. We were the very first company to do, to put a retinol in an oil. Since then, a lot of other companies have followed suit, but there are like 4 different kinds of rose oils in this. And the whole point of having a retinol in